Hello students, welcome back to the class. Today we will discuss the various oxides of nitrogen, and before that let's look at the previous topic. In the previous topic we have discussed about the structure of the ammonia and its properties. Now if you given by that nitrogen here is what? Nitrogen here is sp3 hybridized. Okay, bond angle is 107 degree in place of 109 due to the lone pair bond pair repulsion. Now let's look at some analytic properties of the ammonia. Now many metals forms hydroxide which may precipitated or remains dissolved as a complex in excess of ammonium hydroxide. For example, in case of group 3 of cationic analysis in practical chemistry, iron, aluminium and chromium, they all precipitated as hydroxide. Okay, if you treat Fe3 plus with ammonium hydroxide, you will get a brown PPT of ferric hydroxide. With AlCl3, you will get a gelatinous PPT of aluminium hydroxide. In case of chromium, you will get a green PPT of chromium hydroxide. In case of copper sulfate, you will get a blue PPT of copper hydroxide which get dissolved in excess of ammonia to form a soluble deep blue complex. Okay, so in case of iron, aluminium and chromium, you will get PPT, and that PPT is not soluble in excess of ammonia. But in case of copper, the PPT you obtained is soluble in what? Insoluble in excess of ammonia. Why? Because a complex has been formed, that is tetramine copper 2 sulfate. Are you getting that in your mind now? Sure. Now in other cases, what happens that when cadmium react with ammonium sulfate, it will form a colorless solution. Okay, so if you now pass through H2S gas, it will give you a black PPT of cadmium sulfide. Will give black PPT of cadmium sulfide. That is not written here, but that's how you can distinguish between cadmium complex and the copper complex. I am repeating once more. It is a distinguisher between Cd2 plus and Cu2 plus ion. Cadmium 2 plus forms a tetramine cadmium 2 sulfate complex that is colorless, while copper, in case of copper, it is blue in color. But if you pass H2S gas, then copper complex will remain stable, but cadmium complex, it will precipitate as a black PPT of CDS. Similarly, if you add silver nitrate in ammonia, it will give you a white PPT. Okay, that white PPT is soluble in excess of ammonia. Similarly happens in case of AgCl. AgCl also dissolved in ammonia by forming a complex. Okay, similarly this question with zinc and copper is very popular question. When you take a zinc 2 plus cation and treat with ammonia, it will give you a white PPT. Okay, that white PPT of zinc hydroxide, it is soluble in excess of ammonia and forms a soluble salt. Okay, but with nickel, it forms nickel hydroxide which on dissolution in what? Which on dissolution in ammonia will give you a complex, but that complex coordination number is 6, not 4 as in case of zinc and copper. So remember that nickel hydroxide that is formed here, okay, it get dissolved in excess of ammonia to give you a complex that is called as tetramine nickel 2. Are you getting that? This is the formula of the complex. This is the formula of the complex. That complex is formed by what? That complex is formed by excess of ammonia. So you can say that In almost all the cases, it will form, I am repeating once more, with silver, chromium and aluminum, the hydroxide obtained, they do not get dissolved in excess of ammonia. But in case of copper, cadmium and zinc and nickel, the hydroxide formed is soluble in ammonia. Is soluble in ammonia. You have to understand that. Now, everyone knows that mercury exists in two states. One is the +2 state, other is mercurous, that is Hg+1. So with mercury chloride, it will give you amido mercury chloride. That is a white color PPT. That is a white color PPT. I am repeating once more to you now. When mercury chloride react with excess of ammonia, it will give you amido mercury chloride. It will give you what? Amido mercury chloride. That is a white precipitate. Okay, it forms a gray color precipitate. Okay, when it reacts with mercurous chloride. So with mercurous chloride, you will get mercury plus Hg plus ammonia plus chloride. That is a gray color. What? That is a gray color precipitate. Are you getting that or not? Sure about that? Next is actually a test of ammonia or ammonium cation. I am repeating once more. The next reaction is the test of ammonia or ammonium cation. Okay, what happens that when Ki react with HgCl2, it forms Nessler reagent. That is K2HgI4. I am repeating once more. It is K2HgI4. This is called as Nessler reagent. It is prepared by dissolving mercury chloride with excess of Ki. Okay, so when basic solution of Nessler reagent, that is K2HgI4, it when react with ammonia, it forms a brown PPT which is called as iodide of Millen base. It is called as what? Iodide of Millen base. So when you take Nessler reagent, treat with ammonia, it get dissolved in under basic condition to give you a brown PPT that is called as iodide of Millen base. That is NH2HgOHgI. Okay, there is a HOHg bond there. Okay, sure about that or not? So that is a brown color PPT. That is a brown color PPT. Look at that here. HgO. This is the bond between two mercury atoms, and the other is ammonia and iodine. So that's how you will able to get that. So that is amido mercury, that is called as iodide of Millen base, brown PPT. So that is Nessler reagent react with ammonia, you know that. Okay, sure about that. The balancing of the equation should be known to you. This is the product you are able to get. So this is the reactant and this is the product. Now what are the tests of ammonia? The various tests of ammonia are, it is identified with its characteristics odor, ammonia odor. It turns red litmus blue, showing its basic nature. Okay, and moist turmeric paper brown. Moist turmeric paper brown. A drop of HCl, it forms thick white fumes due to the formation of ammonium chloride. With Nessler reagent, it forms a reddish brown PPT. Ammonia gas, when passed through copper sulfate, it gives a blue color solution because it is, remember that copper hydroxide is but is precipitate, so it is dissolved in excess of what? Dissolved in excess of ammonia. It gives a yellow PPT with what? Chloroplatinic acid. That is a very popular reaction. Okay, so that is the what it react with chloroplatinic acid, it gives you ammonium chloroplatinate. This question is already asked in coordinate chemistry also. If you go through the textbook, you will get the same information there. So next topic is oxides of. So next topic is oxides of the nitrogen. Nitrogen forms a number of oxides. The well-known oxides of nitrogen are nitrous oxide, that is known as laughing gas, nitric oxide, that is NO, nitrogen trioxide N2O3, nitrogen dioxide, dinitrogen tetroxide, and nitrogen pentoxide. Nitrous oxide is non-toxic in small amount. I am repeating once more, nitrous oxide is non-toxic, but when taken in large amount, it is become highly toxic in nature. Now look at the various preparation method for various types of oxides. How would you obtain dinitrogen oxide, that is also known as nitrous oxide? So dinitrogen oxide or nitrous oxide, when you take ammonium nitrate and heated it strongly, it will give you N2O and water molecule. Okay, I am repeating once more. You take ammonium nitrate and heat it, you will get N2O and H2O. That is a colorless gas and neutral gas. Remember that N2O and NO, these are two neutral as oxides of nitrogen. I am repeating once more. N2O and NO are two neutral oxides of the nitrogen. Like carbon also has carbon monoxide as the neutral oxide. Now nitric oxide, that is popularly known as nitrogen monoxide, okay, that is obtained when you treat sodium nitride with ferrous sulfate in acidic condition. So what has happened here? You got NO as the gas. It is an odd electron molecule, but it is neutral in nature. Okay. If you have NO, that is nitrogen monoxide, and treat with dimer of NO2, that is dinitrogen tetroxide, okay, then it will provide you a blue solid that is known as N2O3. Okay, it will give you N2O3. N2O3 is now, so N2O3, this is an, you can say, pure anhydride. When you take N2O3 and dissolved in water, you will get nitrous acid only. Similarly, how would you get nitrogen dioxide? If you take lead nitrate and heat it strongly, you will get brown colored gas, that is NO2. The nitrogen dioxide gas is an mixed anhydride. When you dissolve it in water, you will get both nitrous acid and nitric acid. How would you get N2O5? N2O4 is a dimer of NO2. N2O4 is a dimer of NO2. Okay, so when NO2 has been prepared from lead nitrate, it has been cooled by placing in a very cold water or in ice cold water. You will get the dimerization of the gas and it becomes a colorless liquid or colorless solids after some time. Okay, N2O4 is a dimer of NO2, so only difference is there paramagnetic and diamagnetic behavior, that NO2 is paramagnetic and N2O4 is diamagnetic in nature. Other than that, all other properties are similar. N2O5 is prepared when you take nitric acid and treat it with a dehydrating H4O10. P4O10 is dimer of P2O5 oxide. P2O5 is one of the best dehydrating agent. It can take out oxygen, water from any substance. Okay, it will give you a colorless solid, that is N2O5. So N2O5 and N2O3, I am repeating once more, N2O3 and N2O5 both are pure anhydride. While NO2 and N2O4, they are mixed anhydride. They are what? Mixed anhydride. What do you mean by that? It means that if you take what? If you take NO2 or N2O4 and dissolved in water, you are able to get a mixture of HNO2 and HNO3. So you are getting what? You are getting two different what? You are getting two different acids from the same substance. Remember that N2O4 is a dimer of NO2, so substance is same. Are you getting that? Similarly, if you taken what? Similarly, if you taken N2O3 and add water to that, what you will get? You will get 2 moles of nitrous acid. What you will get? 2 moles of nitrous acid. And if you have N2O5 and dissolved in water, what you will get? You will get 2 moles of nitric acid. So 2 mole of N2O3 and N2O5. Okay, N2O3 and N2O5. They are what? They are pure anhydride, but they are pure anhydride. While NO2, what is that? It is a mixed anhydride. It is a mixed anhydride. You have to keep this in your mind. Now look at the structures and various bond length of these. These properties are very important and you have to memorize it. Like in case of N2O, the bond length is 113 picometer and nitrogen oxygen bond length is 119 picometer. Compare it to the nitrogen oxygen bond length in NO, that is 115. Okay, what is the reason? The reason is that in case of NO, you have double bond formation with what? You have double bond formation with the and single bond formation both happening. But when a single bond formation happen in N2O, there will be a lone pair bond pair repulsion, and there is no such lone pair bond pair repulsion in case of NO. So bond length is little bit shorter. Similarly, this is a very important question, and one of the most important questions that has been asked till now is that how many oxides of nitrogen have nitrogen bond? How many oxides of nitrogen have nitrogen bonds? So answer is N2O, N2O3 and N2O4. So these are what? These are the three oxide. I am repeating once more: N2O, N2O3 and N2O4. That is a very popular question. That how many what? How many? Or you can ask that in N2O how many nitrogen bonds happen? In case of N2O3, how many nitrogen bond happens? Okay, sure about that or not? So these questions are very important and can be asked in your integer type of questions. Similarly, in IIT Advanced until now, the questions that are being asked is how many lone pairs contained in N2O3 on nitrogen. Similarly, in case of N2O5, how many lone pairs are present on nitrogen? So both these questions have already been asked to you. So these are very, very popular questions. Okay, clear? NO2, you can see that here the electron, one odd electron is there. What is happening here? One odd electron is given here. The nitrogen here is sp2 hybridized. It is what? sp2 hybridized. In case of NO2, what happens? This lone pair this is one single electron is there, so that is called as odd electron molecule. That odd electron molecule, they will form the bond between them. So this bond pair is shared. So when the electron is being shared, a bond has been formed. So a bond has been formed here. So that is nitrogen nitrogen bond. That is what nitrogen nitrogen bond is here. So that is N2O4. What is that? N2O4. That is the bond formed. And structure is what? Planar in nature. It is what? Planar in nature. While structure in NO2 is angular. Okay. Why the bond angle is so much large? Due to the p pi lone pair repulsions. Due to what? P pi lone pair repulsions. Okay. Similarly, in case of N2O5, you have to go the structure. The geometry is here planar also. You have to memorize two things. What is that? What is the value of NON bond and what is the value of ONO bond? Because in N2O5 there is NON bond and ONO bond both exist. Okay, and the terminal and the bridge bond have the different. Both are nitrogen oxygen bond, but here the bond length is 151 and here the bond length is 119 picometer. Are you getting that in your mind or not? So that is the elongation of bond and decision. They are very, very important question. Look at this dinitrogen trioxide. Okay, it is a blue gas. It is anhydride of nitrous. I already told you. So next is N2O. It is a tasteless, unreactive, non-toxic in small amount but toxic in large amount. Is soluble in fats. That is a foaming agent and propellant for whipped cream. That is used as a laughing gas also. Nitrogen dioxide. It is a brown poisonous gas that contributes color and adds to the smog. You can find the smog in the various cities. The molecule has a odd number of electrons as in the gas phase existing equilibrium with the colorless dimer N2O4. I already discussed with you. N2O4 dissolved in water to give you nitric oxide and nitric oxide. Okay, which is an odd electron molecule and which lead to the acid rain. NO2 initiate a complex sequence of smog forming photochemical reaction. Now various oxides of nitrogen and phosphorus. The oxides of nitrogen and phosphorus will be acidic in nature. The oxides of antimony and arsenic, they are amphoteric in nature, while oxides of bismuth are basic in nature. Okay, so arsenic, antimony, and bismuth most readily oxidize to +3 state. Okay, they can also oxidize to +5 state. Okay, but nitrogen and phosphorus, they can directly can transform into +5 state. Okay, remember that higher the oxidation state, more will be the acidic nature, like S2O3 and S4O10, that is the dimer of S2O10. So remember that AS2O3 is less acidic than AS2O5. Okay, similarly P2O3 is less acidic than what? P2O5. So higher oxidation state means more acidic nature, Now we will go for understand the ring reaction, the ring test. This reaction will be performed by all of you in the laboratory. Okay, the familiar brown ring test for nitrate depends upon the ability of Fe2 plus ion to reduce nitrate to nitric oxide. So NO3 negative transform into NO. This is the basic transformation reaction here. And remember one more thing. NO, while the complex color is due to charge transfer, NO is neutral. Okay, it will transfer one of its electron to the metal, that is iron there, and the iron changes from +2 to +1. So Rn will change from +2 to +1. So you can say that brown ring is a charge transfer complex. It is a charge transfer complex. You have to understand that. If you look at the nitric acid structure here, the nitric acid is HNO3. The oxygen state of the central nitrogen here is +5. Okay, that is a formal charge written here. Okay, sure about that or not? And it got -1. So 3 lone pair are there on this oxygen, so it carries -1 charge. And this oxygen, what does it do? This oxygen, it also got what? It also get dissociated and lost as H plus. So nitric acid is a strong acid with chemical formula HNO3. It is also known as spirit of nitre and aqua fortis. In its pure form it is colorless, but it gets older, it turns into yellow cast, that is due to the presence of NO2. Okay, this color appears due to the decomposition of nitric oxide to oxides of nitrogen and water. It is highly corrosive and toxic. It causes severe skin burn. It reacts with almost all hydroxide metals and oxides of nitrate. HNO used as a strong oxidizing agent. So remember that one more thing, that we in most of the cases in organic chemistry we will use H2SO4 as an acid. We will never use their HNO3 as an acid. Why? Because in most of the cases HNO3 oxidizing power come into account more predominantly than its acidic nature. Okay, sure about that? So it can be manufactured by the catalytic oxidation of ammonia and is common agent used in the laboratory. Okay, the pH of the nitric acid is approximate 3.1. So if you go by, this is the formula of nitric acid, that is molar mass 63, density is 1.51 gram per centimeter cube, boiling point is 83 and melting point is -42 degrees Celsius. Okay, so nitric acid is a very strong acid and turns blue litmus red. Nitric acid decomposes on standing to form brown nitrogen dioxide gas. This is the reason why it becomes brownish when it is taken in a glass container and left it over for many days. Due to decomposition it happens that HNO3 decomposes to NO2, oxygen and H2O. Nitrous oxide, that is very very interesting, that all the reactive metals, they should give hydrogen when react with nitric acid, but that does not happen in case of nitric acid. Only magnesium and manganese will provide you hydrogen. I am repeating once more, only magnesium and manganese will provide you hydrogen. In all other cases, very very little chance of liberation of hydrogen exists. Why? Due to the oxidizing nature of nitric acid. I am repeating once more, this point must be in your mind always, that among all zinc, aluminium, iron, magnesium, all alkali metals, all okay, except copper, all other transition metals. So because copper is the only transition metal which has a value of positive. Okay, so all other have value less than 0, so it means they are reducing in nature, but still they do not give hydrogen when react with nitric acid due to the oxidizing nature of nitric acid. Only with magnesium and manganese you can see the true acidic character of nitric acid, that they are able to liberate hydrogen. Actually, the product or reduction of HNO3 depends upon nature of the metal, concentration of the nitric acid and temperature. In general, more the dilution, greater the extent of reduction. Okay, remember that. Metals laying above hydrogen. Okay, metal laying above hydrogen, what they will do? Okay, they will give metal nitrate. Okay, what they will do? They will give you metal nitrate and hydrogen. The hydrogen then again react with nitric acid to give you what? Reduction product and H2O. Similarly, metal laying below hydrogen react with HNO3 to give you reduction product plus oxygen. That oxygen is used in oxidation of metals and they will get metal nitrate. They will get metal nitrate. Are you getting that now? So in case of metals which have E naught value positive, you are able to get what? Metal nitrate in the first itself. Okay, while the metals in which E naught is what? E naught is negative. In the first case, you are getting a reduction product, and then you are getting what? The metal nitrate in the second step. So, two different things you have to know. So, first we look at what? First we look at the Ostwald process. The mixture of ammonia and air when passed over platinum gauge at about 700 to 900 degrees Celsius, the ammonia is oxidized to nitric oxide. The ammonia when react with oxygen in presence of platinum at about this temperature, NO is produced. Okay, nitric oxide is produced and lot of heat is being produced. So reaction is exothermic and the heat of reaction is maintain the temperature of the catalyst. The nitric oxide, that is important, that is the main step. The nitric oxide is then oxidized to nitrogen dioxide by oxygen from the air, and then it is cooled to 50 degrees Celsius and absorbed in the water. So NO2 when absorbed in water will give you what? HNO3 plus NO. Okay, this NO will be used in the first step. So, okay, so in the second step, whatsoever the byproduct remain, it can be consumed in the previous steps. Look at the process. A mixture of dry ammonia and purified air. Mixture of ammonia and dry air in the volume ratio 1:10. Okay, remember that the air should be free from the dust particle. Okay, and carbon dioxide. I am repeating once more. The air should be free from carbon dioxide and the dust particles. For that, it should be first passed through the Kotler precipitator and then pass through the catalytic chamber containing platinum gauge. It is shown in the figure. The gauge is initially heated to above 800 degrees Celsius, and that is done by electric supply. Subsequently, the temperature is maintained by heat of the reaction. Okay, so the ammonia is rapidly oxidized to nitric oxide. Okay, so ammonia is rapidly oxidized to nitric oxide, and the nitric oxide obtained is then oxidized again by the oxygen of the air to transform into NO2, and NO2 will give you what? When dissolved in water will give you HNO3 plus NO again. Okay, the NO produced in this step is reused again for this step. Are you getting in your mind? Now remember that one more thing, that dilute nitric acid, that is 50 to 60% obtained in the above process, is considered by distillation till a constant boiling mixture is formed. This is ordinary nitric acid having specific gravity 1.414 and strength is 68%. Now constant boiling mixture means an azeotrope has been formed along there. So 68% is nitric acid and 32% is water. So now at 68% of nitric acid you cannot separate water and nitric acid, because if you want to separate now you have to use a special azeotropic distillation method. So you can see here that the normal nitric acid is about 68% nitric acid. Okay, the more concentrated nitric acid produced by distillating normal HNO3 with the concentrated sulfuric acid. Now the distillate is 98% HNO3. What will it do? Sulfuric acid being what? Sulfuric acid being hygroscopic nature, it will take out water from nitric acid. Okay, sure about that or not? So that's how you are able to get that. Clear understood now? Now look at here. What is happening here? Zinc is what? Zinc is more reactive than what? Hydrogen. Zinc is more reactive than hydrogen. Zinc is more reactive than hydrogen. It means E naught of zinc is negative. E naught of zinc is negative. So when the metal which is more reactive than hydrogen, when treated with concentrated nitric acid, it will give you zinc nitrate and NO2 always. But with dilute nitric acid, it will give you what? It will give you N2O, nitrous oxide. That is the one difference you will get with the zinc, copper. If you take copper and treat with dilute HNO3, then you will get NO. Okay, that is nitric oxide. But when you take zinc, that is more reactive than hydrogen. So that is the only difference you will get. In case of more reactive, that is zinc, the product you will get with dilute is N2O. In concentrated HNO3, product is same, copper nitrate and NO2. Okay, remember that. But in dilute, the only difference will be here you will got NO. That is the only difference you will get. But one next question is very interesting. But if you take very, very dilute nitric acid, it will give you what? It will give you ammonium nitrate. It will give you what? Ammonium nitrate. That is also very, very important. So if you take highly concentrated nitric acid, so whether metal is less reactive or more reactive than hydrogen, it does not mean anything. In both the cases, you will get the same product. But if the nitric acid is diluted or very diluted, then you will get different set of product. In case of dilute HNO3, the more reactive metal will provide you N2O, that is nitrous oxide, while the metals which are less reactive than hydrogen, they will give you NO, that is nitric oxide. And with very dilute nitric oxide, you will get ammonium nitrate. You will get what? Ammonium nitrate. Look at here. Now copper is what? Copper here is more reactive. Less reactive than hydrogen. So zinc is more reactive than hydrogen and copper is less reactive than hydrogen. So copper with concentrated nitric acid, same product. Copper nitrate, nitrogen dioxide. Look at that. Zinc nitrate, nitrogen dioxide. So same product. Okay, so with concentrated nitric acid, this ratio does not bother. Every case you will get the same product. But with dilute nitric acid, here you will get NO. But with zinc, what you will get? But with zinc, you will get N2. That is the only difference. Are you getting it in your mind now? So you have to memorize it to understand that more reactive will give you NO when treated with dilute nitric acid, while more reactive will give you N2O when treated with dilute nitric acid. The only difference is this in the whole case. Are you getting that in your mind now? Sure. I already told you this, that the product depends upon the nature of the metal, concentration of nitric acid and the temperature. In general, more the dilution, greater is the extent of reduction. Okay, I am repeating once more. More the dilution, greater the reduction. So two types of metals are there: metals laying above hydrogen, metals laying below hydrogen. So metal laying above hydrogens are less reactive and metals laying below hydrogens are more reactive. Look at that. When you take mercury and treat with concentrated nitric acid, it will give you NO2, same product. But if you take dilute HNO3, you will get NO as the main product. With silver, you will get same NO2. But with dilute, you will get NO. Why? Because both silver and mercury are what? Both silver and mercury are less reactive than hydrogen. I am repeating once more. Both silver and mercury are less reactive than hydrogen. Action on noble gases, that is gold and platinum. Gold and platinum do not react with nitric acid or do not react with any other substance. But when aqua regia is taken, that is 1 part HNO3 and 3 part HCl, you will have formation of NO plus Cl negative. NO plus Cl negative, that is called nitrosyl chloride. Okay, the nitrosyl chloride produced chlorine react with gold and platinum and give you complex with them. But it gives you what? A complex with them. You have to understand that. Okay, so I am repeating once more. Aqua regia is the only liquid or the only substance which can react with the noble metal like gold and platinum. That is 1 part HNO3 and 3 part HCl.